Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? So I thought I would do a little video. I am in my son's bedroom. I cannot find for anything in my garage. I'm looking for the balloon inflator that I bought, and I can't find it. So I'm preparing for my son's 9th birthday today. He is at his father's right now, and as a single mom, I am trying my best to throw a great birthday party. This is going to be just me and my family today, and I have gotten a bunch of things for my son yesterday, and I laid it all over his bed. I changed the sheets on his bed, and I've cleaned up his room a little bit, and I am now sitting here blowing up balloons, and got this huge birthday, happy birthday thing behind me.
Birthday to you, happy birthday to you. May all your wishes come true. Happy, 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 happy birthday to you. Wishing you a day full of happiness.
And so, you guys, kind of out of breath from blowing up balloons. These are just regular balloons. I did blow up some with confetti in it to add a little bit of pizzazz. And so I want to talk about the things that we do as single moms. I do have streamers I'm going to hang up on his door so when he walks in and around his room. I'll probably put some on his TV. But today I want to talk about being a single mom and what it means to me. This is just the day in the life of a single mom. Today being my son's 9th birthday, I'm really trying to think of my marriage in a good way. I am going back to the day my son was born. So my son was conceived on my wedding night. 2 weeks after my wedding. It was Mother's Day that year, and I took a pregnancy test because I wasn't feeling good. I had been pregnant before. I have 2 other children that I had, and so I had that dizzy feeling. That mother's intuition, I kind of knew. I didn't miss a period or anything. It was just 2 weeks after my wedding. And you know, it's one of the best times of my life. I was so happy just getting married. I was in love with the man of my dreams. He was a Christian. I never thought there would be a Christian man out there for me. And that is the whole reason why I was attracted to my husband in the first place. And it was probably really the only single reason. I didn't like my husband at first. God told me to marry him. I mean, I heard God's voice. Marry this man. My ex-husband had relationships with women before, but I'm telling you, all the girls he dated were just nasty. They were drug addicts, alcoholics, kind of trashy women. These women a lot of times were on drugs and alcoholics, and you know, you could just tell it took a toll on their body, their physical appearance. When I compared myself to the other women that he had been with, I just thought, I can't believe he likes me. I don't have any tattoos. I am not artistic. Even just getting my nails done and my hair done, I'm just natural. I wear just a little tiny makeup. I don't have the false eyelashes. I don't wear a lot of mascara. I am plain Jane is what I told the lady at the nail salon yesterday. I just want a manicure. I just want to be plain Jane. This is how God made me. You know, I don't have any piercings except for the regular piercings. I got 2 holes down here. I used to have a hole up here on each ear, but got infected, and so I took them out. And I've never really done my hair purple or pink. I have an open mind, but all of my decision making is based on my salvation and my relationship with Christ. I go to church. I help other people. I'm kind-hearted. But I didn't have a rough past. I was saved when I was 5. I didn't have a life-changing event in my life where I came to know Jesus. I didn't smoke. My husband did smoke when we first met. He is an ex-alcoholic. And when I first met him, I just thought, he's not my type. He's a bad boy. I'm not. He had tattoos all over him, and I didn't like it. He was a smoker, like I said. I didn't like that. I had children. I didn't want smoke around my kids, and he just had this bad boy reputation. He didn't have a place to live. He lived at the AA house. And then when I first met him, he talked about God all the time. He pursued me in church is where we met. He started attending the Bible study group that I was part of because he wanted to get to know me. I knew his father. His father cheated on his mother several times. He was very selfish. His father tried to get me to date his son before I was even interested. And I was like, oh no, if he's anything like you. I knew the truth about his behavior and the way he acted and what he did to his mother, and I was just like, if your son is anything like you, no way. I seriously did not like my husband when I first met him. But one day, God told me to marry him. We were in Bible study. He said something about God, and he was probably talking about his old self. Hi, baby. You want to say happy birthday to Cameron? The cat's coming to join us. You want to say hi, YouTube? Hi, YouTube. You want to say happy birthday? She's going to play with the balloons. Hey, baby. Here's a streamer. There's a streamer. Baby, there's a streamer. You know, I just heard God's voice, and he told me that I needed to Give this guy a chance. And when God told me that, I fell instantly in love with my husband. Instantly. It was like that. But it was God that orchestrated our marriage. And it was God who made me fall in love with my husband. And it was God who put us together. Finding out after 2 weeks after our wedding that I was pregnant. I remember taking the test. And I remember being in the shower and thinking, how am I going to tell my husband? Seriously, guys, 2 weeks after our wedding. It happened so fast. I remember when I told my husband, he didn't have any other kids. He had never been in a serious relationship. He didn't have a place to live. He was kind of a bum, and he kind of lived on the street as alcoholic. And he had only been sober. He had been sober for like 11 years and then had a relapse. And he was only sober a year when he met me. And, when I told him that I was having a baby, he was so excited. The look on his face, I just held up the pregnancy test, and he looked, and he was like, what? In shock, and it was too soon, and I just sat there. It was like, and he goes, oh. He was so proud of himself. He did it on our wedding night. It being Mother's Day. Oh my gosh, you guys. It was the best Mother's Day gift I could ever receive. And I didn't want to tell anybody, but it was Mother's Day. So, of course, we had to tell our parents, our mothers. And we went to church. We told his mom first. We already had plans. We were going to go to church. And then we were going to go to my parents for lunch. So we went to church. And it was Mother's Day. And we thought, did we tell her? Tell his mom? Because his mom goes to our church. And we're married. And do we tell her? Everything was good. We were all happy. It was Mother's Day. What a great grandmother's gift to find out you're going to be a grandma. So we walked up to the church, and there she was, standing outside. And my husband goes, hi, Grandma. Happy Mother's Day. Thinking he's being funny. She goes, what? She just went serious. She was mad. She was not happy. And he goes, and I go, yep, I'm pregnant. Gonna have a baby. And the look on her face was like death. Like she was gonna kill us. It was like, how did this happen? I was like, congratulations would be nice. What do you mean, how did this happen? It happened on our wedding night. what I thought I was going to get. The reaction was complete opposite of what I thought. That one's got a hole in it. I was scared to go tell my mom after that reaction. So we go to my mom's for lunch. And we were cooking, and we were just doing finger foods for Mother's Day. And so the oven hadn't been on. And so I had made a little sign on our way to church, just with a sheet of paper. It says, I got a bun in the oven. And so we were having the finger foods, and I actually think I was taking something that needed to be put in the oven. And so I put the paper, you know, in there. And then I said, hey, Mom, how do you get this oven to work, or something like that? I said, there's something in here already. I got the pan in, but I don't know how to turn on the oven. Or I don't know how I did it, but it was something like that. And then she opened it up, and it says, got a bun in the oven. And it had the pregnancy test. My mom was so happy, you guys, and me and my husband took pictures next to the oven with our sign, and we made little hearts with our hands and put it over my belly. And, you know, back then I was thin. Cute announcement photo that we had. One of the happiest days of my life, finding out I was having a baby. Having that oneness with my husband, bringing my two children together in our marriage. We made vows with my two oldest boys, and finding out we were pregnant just brought us all together as a family. We were one family, the Anderson family. It's my name. My mother-in-law, when we got married, bought us a sign we put over our house door. It says, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I was in a Christian marriage with a Christian man. I was going to have a baby. Our family was growing, and we were one, and we were happy. Of course, right after that, I started having morning sickness. No fun. And probably a week and a half later, there's a sin in my husband's past life that he told me, and he's still having problems with it. Is it okay? But honestly, it wasn't okay. Honestly, it hurt me so bad. It cut me like a knife. I instantly felt like my husband didn't love me. But I'm pregnant with his son. What am I going to do? We were married, and it was the same time my landlord says, he can't live here. You guys are going to have to move. We were looking at houses. Our family was growing. I was thin. I was pretty. I was glowing because I was having a baby. I had a complete family. And I felt unloved. I felt unwanted. And I thought, well, I'll give this guy a chance. I mean, we're married, we're having a baby. I'm just gonna push my feelings aside and how he's making me feel. And I'm gonna move on with my life. I'm gonna be a happy mom. We're gonna move into this new house. We're gonna have this baby. Everything's gonna be okay. And because I was pregnant, this sin got worse and worse for my husband. Psychological, I didn't even understand how bad I was hurt. I was pregnant. I gained a lot of weight. I had a horrible pregnancy. And I felt so unwanted and unloved. I thought, how could this be happening? I was so happy. I'm carrying this living being inside of me. I'm feeling all the changes, and I'm just falling so in love with my child. And yet, I'm feeling so unloved and unwanted by my husband. I'm trying really hard to be a submissive wife. I'm trying really hard to do what I can around the house. You guys, I had a horrible pregnancy. I was sick a lot. The more I tried, the more I felt like this is pointless to try. I felt just getting worse. And so, as a submissive wife, I thought, well, I'll go with it. I mean, I'm not going to leave my husband. I love him. And so I went with it. I sinned. I had my baby January 15th, 2014. Healthy, happy little boy. I will never ever forget the look on my husband's face when my child was born. I had never seen him so happy. He thanked me, he kissed me, he said, "Thank you so much for giving me this child, having our son." And I thought, oh great, we're happy, this boy has been born, and now we're one, and our family's complete, and we're gonna get past all this sinning now. I'm gonna lose this baby weight, and I'm gonna get back to the way things used to be before, when we were first dating for 6 months. And you know, I mean, that was a big problem. I didn't date my husband long enough to know the real him. We were so happy and in love. It was like a reset button was pushed when my son was born. Having the brothers all together, the three of them, all the same mom, different dads. He just completed our family. That little boy did. I was so in love with him. The moment I looked into his eyes, I was just thanking God for blessing my marriage. On my wedding night, I would sit there, and when we got back home, and I would just cry, and I would look at him and be like, oh, he completes us. And now my husband's going to love me because we have this human being that we have together. Life got back to normal. We started having family vacations together and doing things with the boys. And as he grew up, playing in the yard and watching him walk for the first time and swing and jump on the trampoline and swim and play ball. And that whole time, my marriage was crumbling because sin came back, entered into our marriage. Six weeks after I had my baby, I got my tubes tied, gained a lot of weight. When I had my tubes tied, she told me I had endometriosis. It's like, okay, I don't know what that is, but okay. I ended up, the doctor told me, if you don't have any problems, don't worry about it. But wanted to let you know, this is what you have. We saw it when we did your tubes. It's like, okay. Took a picture. I have a picture of whatever endometriosis is. And didn't think anything about it. I was living a happy life with my boys, my husband. Sin had consumed our marriage, but it made my husband happy. So My husband was happy, I was happy. He worked hard for our family. He was a good father. He went to AA several times a week and would lead me home with the kids. But I loved being a mother, so I didn't care. I was actually supportive of him leaving the house. Things were easier when he was gone. I could raise the kids the way I wanted to when he was not home. And I think it got to a point where I started making decisions without my husband's input. I felt like I was a single wife a lot of times. And it was easy. It was easy. I had been a single mom before. I enjoy raising my kids on my own. If that husband is not going to step up, I don't have any problem with raising my kids on my own. We barely had any time to go on dates because of the 3 boys. And we weren't really growing together. I started pushing God away because of my sin. And it was probably halfway through our marriage of almost 9 years that I started feeling conviction of my sins. And I never really told my husband how I felt. This sinning was eating at me every time. It was making me feel very worthless, making me feel very unwanted and unloved. I was starting to get depressed. And then I started getting sick with endometriosis. I started having symptoms. I didn't know what those symptoms were, and I didn't know what was going on in my body. I thought it was the sinning that was depressing me. But I knew I didn't feel right. I didn't feel good. Every month. And I got to the point where I was so sick I couldn't even take care of my kids. The number one thing I was good at, the number one thing that was making me happy, I couldn't even take care of my own 2-year-old. It was horrible. I feel like I missed out on half of his life because I was laying in bed sick. Feeling unwanted, feeling unloved, feeling sick. Not wanting to be submissive to my husband anymore. It threw me into a deep depression, you guys. Started going to the doctor finally because my husband's like, something's wrong with you. He knew it too. And I didn't tell him it was how he was making me feel. Even then, I told him it was endometriosis. I did research. I found out what it is. It's that endometriosis the doctor told me I had. So I went to the doctor, and that's what she said. It's endometriosis. You know, I had a failed marriage before I met this husband, and my ex-husband, he beat me up. It was physical abuse. And I felt horrible when he beat me up, but the emotional feeling I was having with this sin in our marriage consumed me so bad, I felt worse than the 30 bruises I had. So the doctor suggested hysterectomy. You're done having kids, right? My husband and I discussed this, and I had horrible pregnancies. I had the endometriosis. Having another baby would just be really, it really would have taken a toll on me. I'm out of balloons. And, it really made me very depressed to think I'll never be able to have children if I have this hysterectomy. My son was about 2 years old at the time, and I just really felt like, God, I have this completed family. Do I want to go ahead and have this hysterectomy? I was almost 40 years old. I think I'm done having kids. I have a husband. We're happy. We're Christians. We did start at that time going through some discipleship at church and some counseling with another couple. And we did the Kingdom Marriage. Tony Evans. And I thought, you know what? This is going to heal our marriage. We're learning about how to love each other and be one with Christ. And I could actually see the fruit of the discipleship. I could see Christ in my husband, and I was so attracted to him. And I thought, yes, finally, everything I saw in my husband is back. And it really, really brought us together as one. I loved going to church with my husband and worshiping God with him, and him putting his arm around me at church, and him just reading the Bible. We went to Bible study, and we would sit there and read God's Word together and pray. And my husband really would be like, let's pray at the dinner table. Let's pray together before we go to bed. He was telling our kids about God. And then once again, the sin started creeping right back into our marriage. It got bad. Really bad. It was a nightly thing. And my self-esteem as a wife, feeling again unwanted, unloved. I would go to the shower. I would cry every night. Help me love my husband, dear God. Help me fall in love with him. Help me to feel loved and wanted. Fix this. That was my prayer. And God says, okay, I'm going to answer your prayer. I'm trying to do the right thing. My husband's father died. I'm trying to do the right thing and help the family through the grieving process. It backfires on me. I say, well, I love my husband and I'm going to prove it. And his sister calls and she says, I'm going to go through a divorce. Her husband was beating her up and doing drugs with her. And she wants off the drugs, and she wants to turn her life around, and she wants to be with Jesus. And nobody in the family, not even my husband's mother, wanted to help her. And I thought, you know what? Let's take her in. Let's help her. That's the right thing to do. That will show my husband I love him. Taking his sister in. She moves in. She's there 2 months. She's on drugs in my home. I go to my husband and I say, she's got to go. This is not safe around my kids. The things she's talking about, the things she's doing. She was smoking cigarettes. My whole house started smelling like cigarette smoke. It was nasty. I don't want this life for my children. I don't want this in my home. And I think my husband loves me. And he's going to say, okay. But instead, he says, she's not going anywhere. You leave with the kids. And I said no, and I put myself in the basement. They kind of forced me in the basement. She had her room, he had his room. The boys were upstairs. My kids that weren't even his, upstairs. I was living in the basement. He puts locks on the doors. And I said, I want her out. And I started moving her stuff from one bedroom to the other bedroom into a smaller room. Like the size of a walk-in closet, really. And she goes and gets a restraining order on me. Kicks me out of my home. Police come to my door. I got 10 minutes to get my stuff out. And my husband says to the kids, you can stay here. No, I'm taking the kids with me. I was a stay-at-home mom. So my husband kicked me and my kids out of the house so he could live there with his sister. He files for divorce. You know what happens? The day I'm kicked out of that house, the sin is gone. Evil presence that I felt in my home was gone. I instantaneously felt loved. I started drawing closer to God over the next couple of months. And I felt loved by Him. I feel wanted by Him. And my children are like, finally. They knew I was unhappy. They knew they were unhappy. I didn't know they were so unhappy in that marriage. But I'm heartbroken. I am trying to find out what's going on with my family. How can this happen? We have this boy growing up. He's a part of my husband. He's a part of me. He put us together. He unified us together. I'm married to a Christian man who knows God. What's going on? What happened? Why the change in my husband? Then I find out he has this girlfriend. And he's moved on. He met her at AA. His sister's best friend. What happened to my Christian husband? The one that would fight for our marriage. Kept saying love is worth fighting for. And he loved me. He would tell me all the time he loved me, but he wasn't acting like it. What he said and what his actions were, two totally complete opposite. My love language is acts of service. I needed him. I needed him to show me he loved me, not just say it. In our divorce, he tried to take everything. And God has told me that Satan is trying really hard to break up our marriage because of me. It's because of my faith. It never wavered. The whole time I was in that marriage, I was praying to God, dear God, please help me love my husband. I love my husband more now because I can see what's going on, that spiritual battle that he's having to deal with. I love him more because I know he knows God, and he's dealing with this evilness, this spiritual battle that he's of selfishness, of doing what he wants. The old self is back. And he's dealing with this spiritual battle. And he's doing what he wants to do. But God answered my prayer, didn't he? The divorce. And so I was praying during that time, dear God, please help me love my husband. Number two, help me feel loved and wanted. And I feel so loved and wanted by God that I no longer need my husband to do that for me. And number three, I prayed for a spiritual awakening in me, a spiritual high. I want to love God more. And because of my divorce, that's exactly where I'm at today. My relationship with God is so strong. My discernment. I can overhear a conversation and I can tell you if that person's a Christian or not, just by the way they're acting. Because I know that if you have Christ in you, you act like God towards others. There's fruit of the Spirit. I've really gotten into deep studies on what that means. The fruit of the Spirit. Showing that you have God in your life. When you're living with your girlfriend, you have her move into your home, and you're saying that you're a Christian, and she's an ex-alcoholic and drug user, and that's the lifestyle you want to live, and you've divorced your wife, kicked your children out of their home, is that showing the fruit of the Spirit? God has really, really shown me what true love is. And I do know that true love is sacrifice. God sent his son to die on the cross for us. God commands husbands to love their wives like Christ loved the church. And if God loves me and you by sacrifice, by giving, by putting away selfishness, and doing everything in our best interest, that's how a husband should be. And for the first time, I feel loved and wanted. God has a funny way of answering prayers, but I'm so grateful that he has. Now I'm a single mom and it's tough. I'm financially struggling and I am trying my hardest to figure out what God's plan is for me as a single Christian woman. You know, I see all these happy little families, their marriages and their husbands who are Christians, and I'm friends with a lot of Christian men, and I see how they are with their wives, and they would never treat their wives the way my ex-husband treated me. And God has answered my prayers, and he's told me what it is to be a Christian. And he's really given me the desire to put my selfishness away and to read his word and to follow it. I have that desire to live a Christian life. Do things for my children like throw a birthday party, give them gifts as a single mom, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready to make a video for YouTube and to decorate the walls so I can go pick up my kid this morning and take him out for donuts and go to church with him, and then go out for Chinese afterwards, and then maybe go do some kind of activity like a trampoline park or main event or something. That's what I'm going to do today, is show my love and my sacrifice for my son so he feels love and he feels wanted. And this is my testimony, you guys, how God has worked in my life. He's given me everything I need. I'm feeling so very blessed. This chapter of my testimony started with this 9-year-old little boy today. So I am so grateful that I married my husband. So grateful for my 9 years of marriage. I'm so grateful that we have a son together. And I love my husband so much for being a father to my child, giving me another opportunity to be a mother again. I have no regrets of saying I do. And I know that God told me to marry my husband. I was listening. And I know that God is telling me, be a single mom. And he's telling me keep my focus on God. He's my husband now. And he's telling me to do the best I can do. And he's given me everything I need to be just that, to glorify him in my daily life, share my journey with you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's going to be very long. But thank you so much for decorating with me.
Hey everyone, it is my son's 9th birthday today, and I decorated his room, so I thought I would take you in and show you what I did. It says, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to